Ever feel like your life's missing a soundtrack? Like
Yeah.
there should be some epic music playing in the background as you go through your day-to-day.
Yeah.
Well, get this. Today's deep dive takes us back to 1902 and a book that suggests maybe, just maybe, we all do have a soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's called The Melody of Life by Susie C. Clark. And let me tell you, this woman was thinking big.
She was ahead of her time in
Yeah.
many ways. Clark was writing at the intersection of like a scientific and spiritual revolution. Think early quantum physics, where they were just starting to understand that everything is energy, vibration. And at the same time, you had all these new spiritual movements popping up, exploring like humanity's connection to the cosmos.
Okay.
Clark brought those threads together, proposing that the universe itself is essentially musical.
Okay, hold on. The universe is musical. Like, I'm picturing planets humming along to some cosmic playlist.
Yeah.
What exactly did she mean by that?
So, Clark uses this beautiful metaphor of the universe as a wondrous harp, with each of us as a string, vibrating with our own unique tone.
Okay.
And it goes back even further. She talks about Pythagoras and the music of the spheres. Remember learning about that?
Vaguely.
The idea that the movements of planets and stars create celestial harmonies.
Yeah. I do remember something about Pythagoras and triangles, but that was probably more geometry class than anything else.
Well, the music of the spheres takes that geometric thinking a step further, suggesting there's a hidden harmony in the way the universe is structured. And if everything is energy, as modern physics tells us, and energy vibrates at different frequencies, then in a way, Pythagoras was onto something, right?
Whoa. Okay, so everything is vibes. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for, living my life? Clark wasn't just writing about cosmic background music.
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting. Clark takes this idea of a musical universe and applies it to us as individuals.
Yeah.
She says each person has their own physical keynote.
What?
Imagine, like, your astrological sign, but for your soul's purpose.
Wait, so you're saying she believed there's a specific musical note that resonates with my very being? Like someone could hear my soul's purpose through music. That's mind-blowing.
It's a powerful concept, right?
Yeah.
She even suggested that a truly advanced disciple of truth could use an instrument like an auto harp to discern another person's keynote.
Wow.
I can only imagine those jam sessions.
Talk about tuning into your intuition. But let's talk about a different kind of key love. Clark believed love is essential for a harmonious life. And she wasn't just talking about romantic love, was she? This was bigger, more like a universal love for everyone.
Exactly. She calls it impartial love, this expansive compassion that resonates with how we talk about interconnectedness today.
Right.
Think about it. If we each vibrate with our own unique frequency, imagine the impact of sending out love, acceptance, understanding into that mix.
It's like tuning into a higher frequency.
Yeah.
Right. And wouldn't that, in a way, create a more harmonious world, just like Clark suggested? It's a pretty radical idea, especially for 1902.
It is.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that Clark was writing during a time of immense social change. The early 1900s saw movements for peace, equality, all fueled by this idea of love as a transformative force.
Right. And when you think about it, isn't that what the world still needs today?
Totally.
More love, more understanding, more harmony.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if we all tapped into that universal love that shared humanity? What kind of music would our lives create then? Okay, so we're all vibrating, sending out good vibes, hopefully, and trying to create a more harmonious world. But how does this actually play out in our daily lives?
Well, Clark uses this really cool analogy, like a musical score, to represent a person's life.
Okay.
Imagine your life as a piece of music, with its own unique melody, tempo, even some dissonances here and there.
I love that. Like, we each have our own personal soundtrack playing in the background, right? But we're all part of a bigger orchestra, too. Precisely. Each of our life scores is unique, but we're not isolated notes. We're all contributing to this grand symphony of existence.
Okay, that's beautiful. But life isn't always a beautiful melody. There are definitely times when the music feels a little off.
Absolutely. And Clark acknowledges that she even uses the word rhythm to describe the importance of action in our lives.
No.
We're not just passively listening to the music.
Yeah.
We're actively creating it through our choices and actions.
So finding your rhythm is about finding your purpose, your unique way of contributing to the world.
You could say that. It's about recognizing that we all have a part to play, no matter how big or small.
Right.
Clark was really inspired by nature and how everything is constantly moving, growing, changing.
Mm.
She believed that humans are meant to be active participants in life, just like the rivers flowing, the trees swaying in the wind.
I've definitely had moments where I felt like I was out of sync with my own rhythm, you know?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing with my life. Did Clark offer any advice for when we feel that way?
She talked about tuning into our intuition, that inner wisdom that guides us toward our true path.
Okay.
Remember the physical keynote we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
She believed that by aligning our actions with that unique vibration within us, we'd naturally find our rhythm, our purpose, our place in the grand orchestra of existence.
Okay, I'm going to need a minute to process that because it's pretty profound.
Yeah.
So we're each like instruments. And when we're living in alignment with our true selves, that's when we create our most beautiful music.
That's a wonderful way to put it. And Clark believed that even the challenging times, the dissonances in our lives, ultimately contribute to a richer, more complex melody.
So instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, we can reframe them as opportunities for growth and learning.
Exactly.
I like that.
Those dissonances can actually make the music more interesting, more meaningful.
It's like in jazz music, right?
Mhm.
You have those moments of improvisation, those unexpected notes that might sound a little off at first, but they add a whole other dimension to the music.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a jazz musician uses dissonance to create something new and exciting, we can use challenges in our lives to push ourselves creatively and discover hidden depths within ourselves. It's all part of the process.
This is really making me think differently about those moments when I feel stuck or lost. And maybe instead of resisting those feelings, I can embrace them as part of my own unique melody. But how do we do that? How do we actually embrace the dissonance and find that uplifting melody Clark talked about? It's almost like we need a reminder that even in those moments of dissonance, there's still a beautiful melody waiting to be discovered.
And Clark provides that reminder. She believed the essence of a well-lived life, just like the essence of music, is progression. It's not about achieving some perfect state of harmony, but about constantly striving, growing, and evolving through our experiences.
Right.
She asked this really thought-provoking question. Is earthly music the evening breath of the life we have lost, or the morning breath of the life to come?
Wow. I get chills every time I hear that. It makes you think about the continuity of it all, right? Like our lives are part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And even those dissonances,
Yeah.
those challenges are just stepping stones on a journey of continuous becoming.
It's a powerful way to look at it, and it ties into Clark's ultimate message of hope.
Okay.
No matter where you are in your journey, there's always more to learn, more to experience, and more of yourself to discover. And that process of unfolding, that's where the true beauty lies.
That's incredibly inspiring. But I have to ask,
Yeah.
how do we actually tap into that? How do we find that uplifting melody within ourselves?
Clark believed that each of us carries within us what she called an Easter carol, a song of triumph over limitations, a melody that embodies our fullest potential.
I love that. So it's not just about finding our rhythm, but also about embracing those moments of dissonance
Yeah.
and using them to create something even more beautiful and complex. It's about finding the Easter carol within each of us.
Exactly. What would your Easter carols sound like? What kind of music are you capable of creating with your life?
That's such a powerful question to leave us with. This deep dive into the melody of life it's been such a unique and eye-opening experience. It's amazing how a book written over a century ago can still feel so relevant and inspiring today.
Clark's insights remind us that even in a world that often feels chaotic and out of tune, there's an underlying harmony waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
It's up to each of us to tune into our own unique frequencies, embrace our individual rhythms, and create a symphony of souls, all striving for a more harmonious existence.
It's all connected. Well said.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with me.